OMG, baby, tell him.
Hey there, welcome to One Take, powered by Backers. It is Justin Fox. I am joined here by Jay Andrews. Jay, thank you very much for joining me on the show.
Thank you, man. This is, I'll take any opportunity to sit down with a cup of coffee and shoot the breeze with anyone. I mean, you're helping me out, so thank you.
Okay, there you go. It's like real world connection, right? From our little wherever cubbies in the corner, wherever we're locked up, right?
It's funny, because as children, we were probably told once in our life to go in the corner, and we probably fought it. And now with COVID, when we're told to go to the corner, you're like, okay, no problem. I'll see you later.
I'll just go sit in the corner. Yeah, exactly. Put my dunce cap on, right? Exactly. So I'll do a quick little intro so everyone knows who you are. So Jay Andrews, recognized expert in social media, branding, and personal resilience, founder of Ripple Effect, which helps small business and entrepreneurs build values-based, authentic brands that align with the soul of their business. You help clients define and grow their social media presence to increase their lead generation and sales. I could read a whole bunch of different things here. I see you all the time on LinkedIn, doing stuff on LinkedIn. So, and sort of doing a lot of different things. So welcome to the show. Why don't we instead of reading the long bio, which, there's a lot to read. Why don't we do this? I'll do a choose your own adventure. I like starting the show with a choose your own adventure. You can choose one of two options. A, talk about what you're doing right now. Or B, talk about what got you there. Give us the story from the beginning.
We'll go with A, because when I do speaking and I've done coaching and those things of those natures, and I do a lot of speaking on resilience and adversity. It really has to deal with my background and where I kind of got to where I am today. Okay. I think people have heard so much of that. So why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, or how I got to here, maybe this is where we'll start.
Okay. So you're going to start with what you're doing today.
So what I'm doing right now is, as I alluded to, first and foremost, I'm a public speaker, and I've traveled all over the place speaking, and thoroughly enjoyed it. But as we all know, about 9 months ago, the world stopped.
Right.
And a lot of speaking engagements hit the brakes on that as well. And of course, with a marketing background, and I had my own film company, and I have a film degree, I really, truly pivoted and went back to kind of like the grassroots of what I've done. And I've really, truly focused on social media marketing and branding. Now, I've always done this my entire career, okay, but I really was laser focused back on entrepreneurs and small businesses. I believe they are the engine that makes everything run. Yeah, Big Brother does their thing, and don't get me wrong, we need that too. But imagine the body. Big Brother's the skin. Entrepreneurs, small business, we're the guts, we're the innards, we're all the insides that get everything going.
Exactly.
So without them, without us, without you, things don't necessarily work out. So I'm really focused on that right now. I have clients all over the world, and what I'm really doing a lot of right now is rebranding.
Okay.
What has happened is a lot of people out there had something. COVID really messed a lot of crap up.
Yeah.
And it really did.
To put it lightly, I mean, we use the term collateral damage, right? I mean, COVID has killed people, and that's unfortunate, and not knocking any of that. But the collateral damage from the shutdowns and the lockdowns and the all the different things that have come from it have significantly, I think, had a greater impact than maybe the disease itself, and will long term have ripple effects. But I mean, people are, wasn't that in your name?
Yes, that's my company's name. Yeah. So there you are. Nice plug. Thank you.
There you go. Right. Exactly. Right. It's a ripple effect. Exactly. It's had a ripple effect. That was actually kind of a Freudian, but it definitely has had a ripple effect, and will have a ripple effect in everyone's life. Like, our lives are changed. I have a 4-year-old who just started JK. His first day of school, he stood 6 feet from every other kid. They actually had dots, like all sort of like 6 feet, like so 24 kids or whatever, like in like a sort of rectangle of dots. And they had to just stand on their dot, face mask on. Like I have a picture of him. He looks like so sullen. Like considering what I have a 7-year-old who started JK a couple years ago. It was like bedlam, right? Kids running around. Parents were inside that little yard area. Everyone's giving hugs, kisses, high fives. Kids were excited. This was like, you can't go in the gate. The kid has to go stand on the dot. This is a 4-year-old.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And it looks like he's like in a constant, I don't want to say words like whatever, but he looks like he's in a sullen kind of like, like in some sort of, I don't know what.
You know what it is? It really is. We're in some movie,
right?
That somebody scripted, and we're actually not paying money to sit in a Cineplex Odeon and watch it, right?
It's virtual reality. It's like freaking virtual reality, right? Like
completely.
They put us in the Matrix. This is the Matrix. But somebody's out there making this shit up. Okay, so let's let's make them all wear masks, and then let's have anyways, but
it can get political and right.
I don't want to get political.
No, and I understand it. We're just having coffee, shooting breeze. But for me, a lot of businesses out there already had a brand, already had the verbiage. But the thing is that as we've kind of alluded to, and everyone we're living and breathing it, COVID really changed a lot of things.
Right.
So it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just going to make it a bit better. And so what I've done is that I've sat down and had discussions with business women and men. And we've said, okay, this is what you are. This is where you are. And this is where you want to be. So it's not a complete blow up it's just rebranding. And I stress so many times, whether I have coaching clients or I have clients that I advise, and it's just like, make sure your verbiage is good, because the verbiage is going to change everything. And all you have to do is tweak a little thing about this, change maybe the color of this, change the verbiage, and then relaunch yourself and make sure that you're staying on point. Because what happens is that when a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs go out there and like, I got to make this change, and it's a very knee-jerk reaction. There's a lot of things kind of go through the cracks, things get missed. And I really think that if you don't do the knee-jerk reaction and you actually take the time and speak to an expert, speak with a coach, like you'll always hear this expression, right, Justin? Like I'm a coach, I have a coach. Right? Like I believe everyone should have at least an advisor or somebody that has a non-biased opinion. Talking to your wife, husband, partner, best friend, family member, great, but they are going to have a biased opinion on what they're going to tell you.
Right.
If you go and speak to somebody who's kind of outside that bubble, and now I'm using bubble, right? We're going through, but if you are talking to somebody outside that bubble, they are going to give you a non-biased opinion, and chances are it probably will be better. Yeah. And so it's super important for people out there in businesses to make sure that you have that, whoever it is, a man, a woman,
sort of a sounding board. Somebody
because they are the ones that will actually help you get through with those decisions that will financially affect you and professionally affect you.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, they come with, I mean, they can probably turn into friends over time, and they become, the relationship grows. But the idea is that somebody maybe sort of slightly, at arm's length from your immediate kind of needs and desires, right? That can kind of coach you through stuff. And they arguably would have experience. It's funny. I mean, the last episode, I had a lady on talking about sort of coaching and different things around mindset, right? Yes. And so, there's a lot of different things. I'm going to throw this out. So I mentioned that I've seen you a lot on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I have one question, and I wanted to ask you, and this was the only question I prepared for this.
Okay.
You do those morning coffees. I mean, the videos. I kind of have an inclination of why you do it, and I love it. Why is your video always on an angle?
Okay. I've been asked this question a lot.
I like it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, there's twofold.
Yeah.
So just a quick backstory. People will probably have jumped into LinkedIn twice. And when I say twice, people have jumped into LinkedIn in the last year.
Okay, yeah. So there's like two waves of people.
Two waves. And then
Right.
so people are seeing things on LinkedIn and everyone's trying to stand out and everybody's trying to do something, right? Because it is that business platform and you all are trying to be different.
Hey, we're doing it right here. This
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's part two where the people that were there with LinkedIn in the beginning, and it really was a resume place.
Glorified digital resume. Yes.
Exactly. So roughly about 3 years ago, it could have been 4 years ago, there was a revolution on LinkedIn. And there was this small group of people called LinkedIn creators started to become on the platform.
Yeah.
And
like a Shay Rowbottom kind of concept? Like, are you
She wasn't around at the time.
Okay.
She came a little bit later, but she was part. Yeah, but there were like people like.
She's been about a year and a half, because.
Right.
Yeah, maybe 2 years, give or take.
Yeah. So there was people like Goldie Chan. Like Goldie has been like.
Okay. Yeah.
She was she was the original, one of the very original people that started.
Okay.
And this small. I don't want to call it a revolution, but there's this, I call it LinkedIn 2.0. So there's this new thing started coming out, and it was basically saying to people, you can get your message across, that it helps people out, talks about who you are, and you do it in a video format. I know they're still in testing form, LinkedIn is with beta, which is, anyways, I don't even want to go down that path because I think it's a little crazy. But the point is, you still have that. I came in during that growth beginner stage, and
so about 3 years ago, you're saying?
Three, almost 4 years ago.
Okay.
And so what happened was, and it's funny you mentioned this. So I grabbed my phone and I'm doing it. And my first video or two videos I did was like how we're talking, very square on and, traditional, whatever. And me being a marketing graduate and all these things and had my own film company and all this kind of stuff. I did something probably subconsciously, but I did it subconsciously, but this is how it started. I was doing it and I was trying to get myself in the picture.
Right.
And as I was extending, because I didn't have one of those vanity selfie sticks, being somebody who's 6 feet tall, I got a pretty good.
4 years ago, it might have been like a flip phone, right?
I'm joking. I'm not that old. Come on now.
I'm joking. I was on LinkedIn. I got on LinkedIn in sort of 2014. I grew my LinkedIn. I didn't get into the content creation right away, but I grew my LinkedIn. I saw the opportunity from a connecting, like a sales business development. And I grew my LinkedIn. I'm at about 20,000 now, but about 4 years ago, I started a small retail business. So I grew it with a lot of local, so we were home healthcare equipment. So like physiotherapists and occupational therapists. And I was trying to grow sort of the network using LinkedIn. I saw it as like a very direct, because people you can connect with pretty much. If you're on LinkedIn, I can send you a message, and a lot of other social media, and I can become a connection with you, which is probably how we got connected. Because we are connected, which is probably how. I mean, I'm connected with. You mentioned Shay Rowbottom. I'm also connected with the other girl you mentioned as first connections.
Yes.
What was her name? Sorry, Goldie
Chan. Yeah,
Goldie Chan, right? And exactly, and because I guess early on you just send out requests and people would connect. Now most people that like Shay and other people and yourself are past that. You're past. Are you past the 40? Yeah. So working on it.
So no, I'm gonna answer that question. I'll answer it and then I'll get back to the phone thing. But I will answer that question. No, but this is important.
Yeah.
So I have intentionally chosen not to exceed my following. If you want to follow me, go ahead and follow. That's wonderful, and I love it.
Yeah.
I choose who I'm connecting with.
Keep the connections, right? Okay.
Because
thank you for getting me in your.
I'll explain. Yeah. If you reach out to me and write a note, why, and not some template. Cut and paste that you send to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I mean, I'm talking about like you put some thought merit into it,
right?
And you send it out, and or you are someone of interest, someone I find fascinating, and of those natures, I want to be connected to you.
Right.
Because if I can help you,
I'm not sure which bucket I fit in yet, but we'll
both.
see both.
Pat, no, honestly, because what you're doing is sincerely for entrepreneurs is massive,
Right.
and I have so much respect for that, being an entrepreneur myself.
Yeah,
so
appreciate that.
So please, Justin, continue what you're doing because you're doing a good thing. I'm not saying it because I'm on your show. I'm telling you, you're doing a good thing.
Thank you. I mean, we look at entrepreneurs, like you said, I think entrepreneurs are you talked about being the guts and the inners and that, the everything of I think to take that sort of one step further, I think entrepreneurs and their ideas and their visions will change the world for the better, right? It is the ideas. And I think what we're trying to do, especially with backers, is create a sort of a support system to support those entrepreneurs to get those ideas to become reality, right? And to get those visions and those great entrepreneurs give them an opportunity to make something of themselves. So I think there's a lot of, you talk about the middle class eroding and stuff like that. We can get into that part where now entrepreneurship becomes that option for that middle class to kind of give themselves opportunity, right? Amongst, just the ideas that will change the world. So
I'm not telling you
that's the world we live in.
Yes,
that's
and
what
I'm
we
not
believe.
And yes, amen. I'm drinking that Kool-Aid. Cheers to that. I am drinking to that, my friend.
My wife just took the coffee cup away.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
cheers.
Cheers. And to circle back to on the phone thing is I was trying to get it in, and so what happened was I got on an angle. Okay. Right. I didn't even realize I did that. So then I posted it, and then I did it again, not realizing it was on an angle again. So then all of a sudden, a connection of mine, Anna, she reaches out to me and she says to me, do you realize you're on an angle?
Right.
Just in case you don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. And I'm like, oh my God, I should delete it or and she goes, are you kidding me? This is amazing. It's good, this is your stick. This is your thing. It is now. And so now, 3, 4, almost 4
years
now.
You intentionally do it.
It is now my brand. Like Nike has the swoosh. Mac has the Apple. No, but really, it really is because there is, and I have had friends who have search engine research departments through LinkedIn, and I have asked them, because there's millions of people using this platform. I've asked them, search Europe, search Asia, search North America. Please look into it. Is there anyone else doing this? According to what they've said, and I've had 3 separate people do it, 0 are doing it. So for me, I've actually done something.
Can I do it? Just kidding.
No.
I have to lift the whole desk up.
It's complimentary. There you go. I love it.
Bring yours in. Come on. Bring your desk, your angles. There you go. All right. Good morning. No, that's awesome.
No.
There you go.
But the thing is, and yes, I'm doing some renovations in the house, in the basement.
I love it. I've watched a bunch of your videos. I mean, the content's awesome. But I always thought it was cool. I was like, because I often do this too, but I try to, I try to keep myself.
Yes.
But it's just kind of like it, and then it came out, and now it's your unique calling card kind of thing. That's cool.
And I appreciate that, and I'm actually really proud of it. And that's why I said I think I probably did it subconsciously, because I will admit, when I graduated, and I'm not going to age myself here, but it was a while ago, a long time ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago.
We'll say that, yes. And then, when you have 4 teenage boys.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I always, when I graduated with my marketing degree, I always wanted to create the next swoosh. I wanted to change the world. I came out, I was so bright-eyed. I was ready to change the world. Look out, it's going to be huge. And then, reality struck, and that wasn't the case.
Right.
So I think now, being in my late 40s, I finally did something that I wanted to do when I came in my 20s, right?
Right.
So, and the whole thing with the morning stuff in the morning with LinkedIn is, I think it's super important that people on LinkedIn get inundated with, buy this, do this, hire me,
right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like reading the same freaking book all the time.
Right.
Whereas for me, it's not about that. What I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to turn around and make sure that when I'm giving out information
okay?
to someone, it's just my wife came walking by, so I thought I was
You're in
like,
trouble. You're gonna get
am I in trouble here?
Shoe thrown at you or something.
No. She wouldn't be giving me trouble. Maybe it's more of someone with the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I want to give people within 45 seconds to a minute,
Right.
something that will give them something to pause, think
Right.
about, and then go, I really never thought about it that way. And I always use analogies, and I try to tie things in so people can actually, if they really listen to my morning coffees with them,
It gives them something.
it gives you a moment to stop and pause, because I think we are so fixated on looking through things through a different lens that I think it's super important, whether it's in business, whether it's your personal life, however you want to shake it up and spit it out.
Right.
You need to look at it from another point of view. It is super important.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm asking is for people to give me 45 seconds of the time, grab their tea or coffee mug in the morning, and just have a coffee with me. That's it. And then and
tea with
say
Gary
something.
V kind of thing. Tea with Gary V, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if he still does that, but yeah.
Yeah, but Gary, I mean,
it's a different, completely different. I just meant
but Gary
concept,
but Gary gets the idea. It's like, what do we all want to do at the end of the day? We want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And this is the beautiful thing about your program. It is two people shooting the shite about stuff and having a conversation.
You've avoided it each time. We're shooting the shit.
Yeah, I know, shooting the shit.
It's not PG. It's sometimes I don't know how R-rated. It's at least MA, mature audience.
Well, you know what it is? It's real life. And for myself, it's that I swear, I'm not saying I'm a sailor, but I do. Yeah. And I just, for me, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to making my point across without dropping a bomb sometimes. So.
Right. Yeah. I probably say it too many times, but, and that's, you mentioned like this show, I started this in, this format, at the beginning of COVID. I sort of was sitting at home, like everyone else, sort of March break came home. We actually went away for March break, against all our family's better judgment. But hey, we had a fun week in Cuba. Anyways, we were the only ones there. Literally for 2 days, we were the only ones in our resort, our one room. So it was kind of creepy, actually. Literally,
it's like The Walking Dead.
Oh, crazy. Walked out the pool, like massive pool. Nobody's there. And then the one guy at the back is like the bartender. Hey, Justin, come on. And they were like, they all loved us because we were they had to live there, right? They lived there. So they're not going anywhere. So we were the only guests. So it was pretty cool that way. But no, I came back and I was sort of sitting there. We have a bit of an audience. I was thinking like, how can I just kind of talk to people and kind of get maybe experiences. It started out with like ask the experts. I thought I'd do a 21-day kind of what do they call them, whatever, anyways, like a sort of a 21-day speeches or whatever. And then that kind of morphed into, okay, we're done 21 days. Literally, I filled the 21 spots in like half an hour. I sent out a bunch of messages to about 50 people, and they all responded. And we're like, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll jump in. So like literally it slowly got better. The first couple, I was extremely awkward. I think the one, I hardly knew the person, didn't really do a lot of the research. And it was sort of, you're kind of, and then, I slowly got my groove, and I've done now, I think we're on about close to 70 episodes over the past 6 months. So it's literally, I've gotten better. I think my shtick is, I don't do research, really. I'll know a little bit about them, but the idea is more to have a conversation with that person almost as if we don't know who they are, right? And so that the audience we can have like an open conversation, getting to know you at maybe a deeper level than sort of, hey, I'm, whatever, I did this, and I've kind of, not speaking to you specifically, but like we bring in, more higher profile people. People know who they are. We've had some Olympians on here, but it's not so much who they are. It's let's just talk about it like a regular person and your experiences, right? That's the idea.
And to your point about people, about jobs, and so I worked in the film industry, okay,
Right.
and I had my own film company, and I actually did okay. Like I was doing well. I was making money.
Okay. Did you what films did you produce? Anything we would know?
I was more of I was a director of photography, so a DOP. Okay. I did a lot of editing, lighting, audio, those type of things. But I did produce. So I dabbled in a lot of it.
Okay.
But for me, one of the big things is that so I got to travel and be in places, locations, and shooting films, and we did a lot of B films. And one movie in particular won a lot of awards over in Europe and in Africa, of all places. Okay. It was a horror film called Dillinger's Diablos. Anyways, it was a lifetime ago. Yeah, it was a fun time. But what I'm getting at is, and I'm going to share this story with all your audience and stuff, and is that I was at the TIFF, so the Toronto Film Festival. Yeah. And so we were at the Hot Rack Cafe in Toronto, and it's packed. You had to get tickets, or being invited in, and all this frigging glam BS crap. Right. And so I was there with some people, and I look over, and literally less than 2 feet from me was Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
And so, Woody Cheers, Natural Bone Killers, like whatever. Everybody knows who Woody Harrelson is, Zombieland, whatever. And the thing is that...
Isn't it White Man Can't Jump too?
White Man Can't Jump? Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
Now I talk about inappropriate films in this day and era. But anyways, so...
I guess if you look, you'd have to go back and watch it from the eyes of today. Is it that inappropriate? I guess from a title right off the bat, sure.
Right. But I don't know. Like, you know what? It makes me think that this weekend I'm going to have to watch it. Yeah, a lot of stereotypes. Oh,
for sure, yeah.
But so I'm there, and then, like, for whatever reason, Woody just comes over, and I said, hey, Mr. Harrelson, it's like I'm being really polite and whatever. I wasn't in goo wow, like who you are. And he's like, just call me Woody. And then next thing you know, him and I end up talking for almost half an hour.
Right.
And I literally felt like he was my next door neighbor.
Right.
And we were just finished mowing our front lawns, and we were just shooting the shit, and just talking. And and the thing is about this, and I have met other celebrities, and I've met pro athletes, and the list goes on. And I'm not a name dropper, I really am not, but I could easily do that. Is all they are regular human beings that have a cool job,
that have gotten somewhere that in one specific instance in their life. Or one sort of part of their life, right? That they've excelled at. So
yes, yeah. And I keep tell people if there is a musician or an athlete or an actor or somebody in the industry like Tony Robbins or something like this, like I've met Tony Robbins, and it's like, yeah, nice guy. I had
Isn't whatever. He like 6'10" or something?
He is a big man.
He's a big man. He is
tall and built like a brick house.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. And man, does he have a hard handshake?
Well, I heard he's got like big hands. He's tall, huge man, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's got a presence, right?
But
definitely a presence.
Oh, yes. It's not just a physical presence, but he just has this aura about himself.
Right.
But this is what I'm getting at. It doesn't matter whether who she is or who he is. They're still a human being. And to your point, you get some people who are Olympians. Yeah, they get a gold medal. Yes, they do. They traveled. They trained all their lives. They still have human stories. They still feel. They've still been through adversity.
And that's the important stories to hear about, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's kind of what you've mentioned a couple of things right at the beginning. I think off air, you talked about, it's good to connect or talk to people, right? Like it was also, I felt like, I would normally meet with a lot of people throughout the days. I would talk to a lot of people. I'd be out working with different clients and entrepreneurs and trying to and this, I was now stuck at home. Why not create a show that I could have just a general conversation, maybe hear about some of people's stories, how they succeeded, how maybe they failed and then overcame different things, and just have fun. We get deep sometimes. It kind of it goes whatever way it goes, but and then people can watch it and say, hey, you know what, that Jay Andrews guy, he's got an interesting story, or whatever, right?
Like for me personally, and I didn't go into the backstory. I mean, because we all have our things that we all go through. We all come with something to the table. It's not like we show up to the all-you-can-eat buffet without a plate, right? Like we all bring something to take.
Every year that you have up until your age, something's happened.
Exactly,
right? Experience has happened.
Yeah, and for me, like quickly, like I experienced 3 really highly traumatic things that I've been told when I've gone out and spoken, when I've been in speaking engagements and privately been told to people, they're like, I just want to tell you right now, had that happened to me, I probably would have committed suicide or I would have given up because there's no way I would have been able to do what you did. And when I hear those things, it just reaffirms to me that when I talk to people, I'm like, you know what? The human spirit can do anything. Resilience lives is actually a fabric of your DNA. It's inside of you. So don't tell me, you know what? You may not feel in the moment you have the capabilities of doing it, but believe me, you do. And quickly to share, Justin, like for me, without getting into all the details, it was 3 things in a row. It literally was bang, bang, bang. And I call it my 3 strikes. Okay, instead of being 3 strikes, you're out.
Let's have 9 lives for cats. Yeah, already had that. I was going to say, let's make sure you have more strikes to go. Yeah.
But for me, instead of taking my bat and going to the dugout, what I did, I took my bat and walked down to first base. And I said, I'm recreating the rules here.
Okay.
The rules are different.
Yeah.
And for me, it was diagnosed with a blood disorder that there's no cure for. So my life expectancy is dramatically shortened.
Okay.
And so, like, to be blunt, I probably will not see past 70. But that's okay. But everybody goes, oh my God, and they're upset. And I have come to terms with that. I completely embraced it. I am happy with that. I have always said one of the greatest things that was ever told to me was my expiration date. I do not freak out about the tiny bullshit. Like people were in Toronto, you're stuck on the freaking highway and it's taking you 6 hours to get home and all this crap. And it's just like, you know what?
Hey, are you in Ottawa?
Yes.
Bad mouthing Toronto?
Me say something about the GTA? Come on now. What? What do you have so bad to say about Toronto? Come on. Come on. We love the big smoke.
It's all good.
Exactly. It's all good. Exactly. No, but seriously. So what I'm trying to get is I don't freak out about the small stuff. No. I don't freak out about the small stuff.
Yeah.
Second of all, as soon as I was coming to grips with that, I was involved in a horrific car accident that should have claimed my life. There's no really medical reason why I'm still alive. I was told I never run again. I never do all these certain things. And after 12 months of intense rehab, I signed up for my first 5K run and I ran 5K. And then I ran halves and full marathons and did all these things, right?
How long ago was that?
Oh my God, almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
And then on top of all that, I just finished my rehab and I was diagnosed with cancer.
Shit.
And I beat cancer. So what I'm trying to tell you is that
welcome to the Andrew Show. That like honestly, that's amazing. Thank you. Like everyone, we're blessed that you're here with us. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not take life for granted. I am very grateful. I get up every morning and I say to myself, man, I get to do this again. Like even if you have a shit day, and we all have shit days, but even if you have those days, guess what? You have another 24 hours coming up around the bend that you get to do it again, right? And people like, oh, I got my job, my kids are driving me crazy, my partner, I want to blow my head off, and all these things. And it's like, if that's the worst thing that happens to you in your life, really? Like, so this is
perspective, right? It's definitely perspective. I mean, you could be, think about it. Like my wife brings this up, not so much now, but back in the day, like Canadian, just being Canadian, right? You're in like, I'm not knocking any other country. So whatever is being Canadian, we're in sort of call it the top 5% of the world. Like, we've got healthcare, there's opportunity, all these different things. There's, there's an infrastructure, there's a stable arguably government, or you could
That's
whatever,
fair. That's fair.
whatever, right? There's all those
fair.
things, like, so you could, just by being here, arguably you're better off then, if you will, in most metrics than, let's call it, at least 90% of the world. Maybe
yes,
95,
we are blessed, and we are very fortunate to what we have.
Right,
yes,
right. And so
absolutely.
even just, it's like that perspective, knowing that you could be in many other countries,
yes,
with many other problems, literally wondering if, the sky is going to fall, your apartment is going to bomb, or be blown up, or, tornadoes or hurricanes or whatever, right? Like, there's a lot to be thankful for where we are. So I think that's perspective. And just to throw there, not to whatever, I had a very significant incident last year. I don't talk about it. This is actually going to only be the second time I've brought it up on this show. I was out, incident happened. And so I've been able to bring some perspective. That's actually why I like doing this as well. It definitely changed my life. So I was on life support for a week. I was out at a bar. Guy, there was an altercation, pulled a gun, shot me 3 times, almost killed me. 1 year ago, July. So, I mean, that definitely changed a lot of my perspective, where now I can, I was on, rehab in the hospital for months, couldn't walk for 10 months, shattered hip, torn intestines. Yeah, similar to you, like, could have been dead, but didn't. I now have a perspective that I don't really talk about the shooting. People have told me I should start talking about it more. I'm not really sure where it fits into the whole equation. But with what you're talking about, I think people need to realize, back to your resilience, you can get through anything,
Yes. And you know what? I think when people think about adversity, okay, let's just use that topic, okay?
Right.
When people think adversity, they think they have to go through a gunshot. They got to go through cancer. They got to go through some crazy life-altering thing to face adversity. Let me just tell you something. I'm looking outside Ottawa. It's cold. It's rainy. It's shit.
Right.
Okay, right now, the weather. Not the city, but the weather is, okay?
Yeah.
I like to run. Now, if I decide to put on my running shoes, go outside and go for a run, I actually just beat adversity. You know what the adversity is? It's cold, it's miserable, it's wet.
That you overcome your malay kind of thing. You're just sitting in your basement. Yeah.
Exactly. It's these things that everyday occurrences happen to every single woman, man, child out there. We all face some form of adversity.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be the dramatic thing. This is what people do not realize. So therefore, if you can get through that adversity, what is telling you that you are not resilient?
Right. And it's those little things. And I think even in everyone's life, and you talked about, Woody Harrelson or Tony Robbins, like, and everyone's the same. Everyone deals with the little adversities every day. It's how you deal with them that kind of separates different people from one another, right? Everyone, puts their pants on one leg at a time. Presumably, some people might just jump right in. Yeah, I don't know. But the one thing that I always thought about too is at the beginning of COVID, I think it's the first time where the entire world, like every person in the entire world, has right now the same starting point, at least lived experience. Obviously, it's very varied for different people, and some people have been affected better or worse or more so than others, but I think at least from a lockdown, everyone was locked down, understanding that there was a risk and so I always talk about there being potentially a PTSD from, a global PTSD from because I don't even think, world wars didn't include everyone. There were countries that weren't included, right? And, people weren't affected. This is literally like across the board, 100% worldwide. Everyone's been affected by this. So it'll be interesting to see how people react and come out of this, right? That's I think going to be a psychological study there, sociological study, I think.
Oh my gosh. They're going to write an Encyclopedia Britannica, 18 volumes over the next 18 years about this. I mean, seriously. I mean, it really is. You touched on it really good, Justin, in the sense that this COVID did not discriminate against anybody. It touched everybody. It didn't care who you were. It didn't care what color your skin was. It didn't care your religion, what language you speak. Didn't care what sex you were. Didn't care what orientation you like. No. It was like you're all part of it.
Yeah, and you're all not your corner. Go to your corner, put on your hat, right? That's it. Everyone.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it's super important that what people can do is take away from this is, and I am probably one of the most optimistic people out there. Okay. And I just think that I'm not saying no, all these horrible things have not like I know they've happened, and I know there's going to be probably more bad things happening.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line about not living in a world that's black and white. There is so much gray, and if you can understand the gray, you will be a little bit more optimistic. In the sense is, think about this: with all the deaths that have happened, and that's sad. But here's the other flip side to this: everyone got quarantined, right? So I can tell you right now, the birth rate is going to be through the roof in the next 12 months.
Are giving birth,
I'm just telling
December,
you,
January, yeah.
There is, like they always say, the baby boom, right? After World War II, this massive boom because all the men came back after the war, and it was in every country. Okay, right. That's going to happen globally again. You know, like this is a positive thing. Now, were there people being locked into a situation where they couldn't escape because of domestic violence and all these other things? Right. Okay, yes. But you have to, yes, that is part of the thing. But there's also this as well. They were entrepreneurs. They were business people who lost their job, got back into a situation and had finally peace and quiet. And their mind could settle down.
Right. Unless they had 3 kids, right? Unless they had 3 kids.
This is true, but they had a moment somewhere. They grabbed a piece of paper, a pen, grabbed their phone, talked into it, and all of a sudden, this brand new company, this brand new invention comes out, and it changes how people do things. And that never would have happened if COVID never happens, because the world was so loud and so busy. And no
one really got a chance to take that step back, right? Or
And my personal belief is the world, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, for the last 200 years has been asking humanity to slow down.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Take Sundays off, and we don't even listen to that.
We don't listen. And then finally it said, okay, well, guess what? You're going to listen now. And then that was it. So we have the opportunity to learn from this, and we have the opportunity to grow from this. We create. Okay. I was speaking at an event for a bunch of students at this event on Monday, and I was really under the weather. I wasn't feeling the greatest and whatever, but I still did it because I think it's important to be there for the students. And the event was held. Put on by Upkey, so I just gave him a plug, and you know, and I did it for the students. And here I am, and I was talking about adversity and resilience, and trying to say to them, you know, some of the tools and things you can use in the workplace and in your personal life and what have you, and finding jobs and education and picking universities and colleges. The thing is that adversity does not define you. You define what adversity is going to be. Right. And you truly have the capability, like you are going to tell how you're going to come out of COVID. COVID's not going to tell you.
Right.
And I think people have to understand that when you're in your business and you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure something out, you are going to tell how the business is going to work. Yes, there will be outside factors that will have a say that goes in, but you determine what is going to happen. It's not that which will determine whether you're not, like, for instance, you're on LinkedIn and you're a solo business person, you're doing all this stuff and you haven't put too much into your profile picture. You haven't put too much effort into your verbiage you're using, or your banner behind you. And you're like, it's good. It is what it is. You know what? No, it's actually, you have control over that. If you don't have the time, find an expert, find somebody like me, find somebody else who does similar things that can help you out, rebrand and do it, and not cost you an arm and a leg and charge you through your teeth. I can tell you right now, I've been ridiculed because the people say to me, Jay, you should be charging more. And you know what? There are things that I do charge more for,
Right.
but to really help out the small business person, help out an entrepreneur, why would I do that? I've been in your shoes. I've been there.
Right.
Why would I do that to somebody? I know how difficult that is. So I'm here to help people. And I think what you do, Justin, having this every single day and having people come on and talk about real issues, real things that can help people out in their business is massive. Like this is a game changer. And if you can't invest 30 minutes or 50 minutes of your life to actually take in and sponge something up that will have a profound effect to you down the road, then maybe you're not really listening to what your true goal is. Or like I say to everyone, and I'm going to ask you this question, so I'm going to put you on the spot in a second. Because everybody needs to know their why. Okay. And if you don't know what your why
Simon
is,
Sinek, start with why.
Essentially, yes. And I think what the thing is, when you ask, you'd be surprised if you ask people why. Like, why do you do what you do? Why is ripple effect? Like, why is it? Like, and I think a lot of people say, I'm going to create a business. I'm going to create a business called Thankful Mugs, and I'm just going to put them out, and I'm just going to say thankful on it and make people feel good.
Right.
And then you come to me and say, Jay, why the mug? Why the word? And if I don't have an answer for you, then I really have to haven't figured out what my business is and how successful is this business without the why. And for me, my why is to positively affect one person every single day. That's it. Right. So what's your why?
What is my why? That's a very good question. I mean, my why, I think from a personal perspective, is I enjoy building and creating things, right? And so I think that's kind of my why. And so by building and creating things and being sort of creative, I can build my own things. And then by sort of working with others, I can help them, I guess, build and create their things. Like one of the things that I love doing, and I've done this a lot recently, is sitting down with somebody, an entrepreneur who has an idea, and having like a very quick conversation. And then very quickly, I've actually done it about 5 or 6 times in literally the past week. They come up with their brand name and their, and they're not asking me to do branding. They're coming to, launch a campaign on the platform. And literally within 5 minutes, I've changed their name and their company. I've created a brand, and I've given them like a whole new direction with like, I've done a couple searches, some trademark search, some URL searches, some looking at like just thinking of like, I usually say, just talk about your business for a few minutes so I can hear like keywords that they're sort of getting at. And then I come up with different things. And then they all were like, fuck, that's amazing. Like that's it. That's the brand. Right. And so I like that aspect because I do it for my own businesses. And so I enjoy doing it for others. So that's kind of just a very small part, but
I love it. You are a builder. I love it. That's my name's Justin Fox. My why is I'm a builder. Boom, drop the mic.
I like building shit. Yeah, I like creating. I think creating better than building. Creating, being creative.
I love it.
But one thing I will say back to your point is the confidence. Like I don't think people, like you mentioned, you're talking to the students, and you were saying how it's all in your sort of in your control, or what's in your control you can control, and that oftentimes people are leaving that control, sort of they're just sort of leaving it, as you said, right? They're not fixing their just simple thing like a LinkedIn page or whatever. They're not pursuing that. But do you think there's a confidence issue there, or their lack of understanding, or where does that
I think what happens is that there may be a confidence issue, and I think we all have confidence issues, and it's called fear. And you know what? I but I have an answer for that.
Okay.
And I mean,
that's what we need. We need that answer.
And I'll be serious. This is going to sound maybe cynical, but I'm telling you right now, this is the fastest way to conquer fear. Give fear a name. You know what fear's other name is that people call it? It's called ego. And this is what you do. Okay, I have a name for mine. All right, his name is Junior.
Oh, like an actual name. I think you meant just like I think you just meant like I'm afraid. I think you meant like I'm afraid of failure.
No,
like an actual
so imagine
Christian or like a given name.
Yeah.
Like
so
I'm gonna name it Michael.
So
Peter.
Exactly. And my wife, she calls hers Sally. Okay. So, but listen, hear me out.
I like it. I'm listening. I'm hearing. Yeah.
Okay. So here it is. Everyone's had this, that inner voice who says to you, "You can't do this. You're not good enough. Who in the hell do you think you are? You're a preposter. Like you're a joke. Seriously, look at you. Oh, you failed. See, you're a failure. I told you this. Blah blah blah. All this negative BS crap.
Right.
Or don't do this. You're going to get hurt. Stay away from that. It's going to be a bad thing. I'm just telling you. Listen to me. I always keep you safe.
Are we allowed to use our parents' name? No. Just kidding. Joke.
No. I was about to say this. Be careful, because we're parents too.
Right.
True.
So my kid's gonna his fear is named Justin. It should be that little brat. No, just kidding.
No,
you better be afraid of me.
Right. No. But here it is. So this is what I do. When I hear that negative talk, and we all hear it, okay?
Right.
I essentially just basically say, Justin, listen, I do hear what you're saying, but until you can speak to me with respect and dignity, and you're not going to have your little tantrum, I don't want to talk to you right now. So you I don't put him in the corner. I don't, punish or whatever.
Yeah.
I just said, listen, until you can talk to me respectfully and as a human being, I don't want to talk to you right now. And you know what I just did? I actually empowered myself. I have taken the power from fear and ego. I pulled it away. I've given it a name. So now I have a name, so I can actually, it's like when we tell people, Todd, do this. Alice,
Todd's like the Karen of the male version of Karen. Yeah.
Right. It's just like whatever it is, right? And then all of a sudden you've taken ownership and you've really seized the power. So I'm telling everyone out there, give it a name and just say to it, I'm not talking to so-and-so until you're respectful. And then you've actually taken that fear. The fear will literally not necessarily totally go away, but you've empowered yourself, right?
It's interesting.
For me,
not to joke about it, but do you think if you meet someone named that name, is that gonna be a problem?
I have met somebody whose name was Junior, and I did.
Oh, you called him Junior, right? Yeah.
But because he's a junior of me, he's a mini
That's
me. That's
actually a good one.
And So that's where I called it, and I spoke at an event, and somebody came up to me and they're like, "My name's Junior," and I said, "Listen, I wasn't like it's not directed at you," and I explained the whole situation. I said, and for all intents and purposes, it just gave me more of an inclination saying, "Listen, the next time I spoke of it, I said I refer to mine as this. If there's anyone named this, it is not you."
Disclaimer.
But because we get so wrapped in our own ideas and thoughts that we sometimes neglect others around us. So I guess what I'm trying to to answer your question is super important that if you do. So for me, it's not people aren't saying to themselves they lack the confidence. I don't think it is. I think it's fear. And when you take that back, I think we all have the confidence within us to be resilient.
Yeah, it's just removing that self-doubt, basically.
Yeah.
And then you said a good way, which I think is a very tactical. One of the things I try to pull out of is sometimes more easier than others is a tactical, like actionable thing that somebody watching can actually go do. So that's, there's your nugget right there from Jay Andrews.
I'll give you one more. Yes, and I'll give you one more.
Many more. I have one last question, but go ahead.
I'll share with you what I share with the students, and I've actually shared with other people. All right, and I think this is really important. On the heels of giving a name to ego/fear is this: we are so fixated on the shit we can't get done, the things that are outside of our factors. We are completely fixated on those things, and then there's all these things that we can't control, and we do not give it that enough attention. We don't put enough brain power into that. We kind of loosey goosey, but we're so fixated on the things we can't control. I told those students, grab a piece of paper, write can, cannot, draw a straight line down the middle, and write down all the things you have control over. Write down all the things you do not have control over. And when you actually see it in black and white, you will realize all that energy that you are wasting on things you cannot control.
Can't control, right?
You wipe that out, and you put all that incredible, artistic, amazing energy off of the can'ts and focus it on the cans. You could don't tell me there's nothing you can't do, because that to me is a cop out, and that's telling Junior to say, listen, when you're ready to talk to me respectfully and treat me with some respect, then you can come and talk to me, right? Because I can do things.
Yeah. It's interesting, to write it down. I like that, and sort of putting the line between the two, and then focusing on those that you can. If is it a prayer? God, give me the strength to, I don't know, and the wisdom to know the difference, or something like that.
But there's science behind it, Justin. Because the thing is, think about this: what are our senses?
The serenity, serenity to something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But we have the senses of smell, sight, taste, hear. I'm missing one, and feel. Okay, so but think about this.
Yeah.
So if you sit down and you write out your stuff, think about all the senses that are being triggered when you're writing it out. You're visually seeing it.
Yeah.
You're feeling it.
Yeah.
So you're writing it out. As you're writing, most people talk when they're writing because they're seeing what upstairs. So you're hearing.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe you have scratch and sniff paper and your paper smells. I don't know, your pen smells. Does that stuff even exist anymore?
Yeah,
probably not, because it's all toxic. Yeah, it's all toxic.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get is maybe the one sense of smell is not happening, or if you're writing these things over a cup of coffee, a tea, the smell of that is enhancing and you're sipping your coffee or whatever it is, it brings more onus to what you're actually doing. If you do that, writing stuff down, you're more likely to succeed than keeping it all up here.
Right. It's interesting because I mentioned yesterday's show talking about with a mindset coach, and we were talking a little bit about with her name was Sandy, and she talked about like writing down for 7 days kind of what your thoughts, dreams, desires, wishes were, and then kind of looking for patterns and then kind of pursuing those. So it's a lot of definitely writing down and taking note of things. I like your point that if you do sort of take the time to write, you definitely are, stimulating multiple senses, and it gives you time to, like you mentioned too, like that time to sort of step back, maybe take that 5 minutes, to yourself in a quiet, place. And kind of, and for me, I mean, back very just full circle. And then I have one more question. I love COVID. Let me rephrase that. I've appreciated COVID for the time that I've gotten to spend with my 2 young boys and my wife in sometimes a confined space. And we ended up going camping a lot this summer. But, arguably, I got 6 months with a 4 and a 7-year-old, or 3.5 and 6-year-old, whatever, when it started, and that I probably, life was always way too busy. Drop them off at daycare at 7 a.m. Pick them up at 6 p.m. See them for an hour, maybe eat some dinner, bath, they're gone to bed. And then it's kind of like weekends running around, sort of doing stuff. And you see them 1 hour a day, and that's pretty much it, right? Or maybe an hour and a half. Now I got to spend, full days, weeks, where, yes, I did stuff like this and I did work, but I could work on my time. So I would work. Now I work between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. That's actually when I get my best work done.
Right,
now,
right.
When everyone's asleep. But when they're, I pick them up from school now, or like now that school's back on. But, I think having that ability to sort of step back and get back to maybe the roots has been pretty cool. So,
and you know what? I can tell you right now, your kids, when they get older, they're going to thank you. Your oldest will thank you. I mean, I'm being sincere when I say that, because whether you're a mother or a father, because we're talking about children,
right.
Your children, regardless of the age, will be grateful for the time that because as parents, we pre-COVID, we filled our lives with busyness, and right. COVID said, you know what? You don't have busyness anymore.
Right.
So yes, there were factors of busy, but nothing compared to what the world was. And I guarantee you, they'll thank you. Yeah, and you became a better parent. And you became a better parent.
Better person for sure. Like all around. Like, I think it's but so anyways. But obviously it's had its like you said, resilience. It's had its ups and downs. There's pros and cons. But I think if you can look on the positive side, glass sort of half full, 3/4 full. I'm more of a glass 3/4 full kind of guy.
You know what? When you know your perspective, you actually have a better handle on what is going on around you.
Right.
It's when you don't know your perspective is when you can be
the uncertainty. Cannon. The uncertainty, right? Yeah. You said you're more of a glass 3/4 full as well, right? Maybe a glass
like
full.
Half full, 3/4 full. Like, not full because, but I somebody goes
75% to 80% full. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like I look at it this way, and I'm going to quickly say this because people say, "Oh, Jay, you're so positive," and Jay, you're this, and Jay, you're that, like positive things. And I can tell you right now, I'm not always happy, and I have really bad days, and I go through some terrible shit. Like my father passed away like 7 months ago, and it's just like, it's been tough, and I have some real bad days. But you know what? I'm true to myself, and I'm honest with my feelings, and I say, I don't become a hermit, and I don't do. All I am is maybe I'm just a bit quiet, and a little more reserved. And I tell my boys and I tell my wife and I say, I just say to them, and it's the code word. I just say, I'm just having a day, guys, and they just know what that means, and they're like, okay. So they're not like, oh my God, he's pissed off, or oh my God, he's not in the mood, and I think it's safe. I think we as people who see the world half full, you can't be happy all the time, and you give a projection of happy all the time. Guess what? It's not real. It's fake. And that's and to circle back, like on LinkedIn, I post if I feel it. If you tune in, like here's a great thing. Yesterday, I normally do live, one shot, one take, no editing. It's click, shoot, done, boom, post. And people they can't believe that, but that's how I do it. And
that's what this show is. This show is literally called One Take. This is I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put some there's some banners will go around it. I'll upload it to YouTube. That's it.
Boom. And that's the way. That to me is real. It's authentic. It's genuine. It's all those things. It's not a filter. It's not a cut and paste. It's just here it is. And so, for me, Tuesday, I got up and I was having a day. I just wasn't feeling it, and I'm not going to fake it to make it. I'm not going to do that. Right. And so, will I still show up for my clients? Will I still show up for my kids? Will I still show up for my family? Right. Absolutely. But the point is that I'm not going to do something that if I'm not going to be genuine about it. And so yesterday I didn't do a video, but today, get up, feel good, everything's great, moving forward, and boom, video's up.
There you go. Well, Jay, I really appreciate you taking the time. We've gone. We should do another round 2. I think it's been a great conversation. Let's
call me. Type a message. I'm in.
Yeah, let's do round 2. In the near future. But I really appreciate it. I started going sort of choose your own adventure, but I want to hear both of your answers. So you don't get to choose your own adventure. Can I change the rules? You don't get to. You get both adventures.
You know what I've said to a few people when I've been on a podcast with them, and they've kind of said something like, "Oh, can I change it?" I'm like, "It's your show, man. It's your show. Like you do what you want."
So two answers. First one is, one word that you would give advice to a younger you. So a piece of one word. The other one is, which I think you could probably speak to a little bit, given the three sort of strikes as you put them. What would be your final words to the world or to your loved ones? So let's say you're standing on the edge of a cliff. What are your last words?
So
one word of advice.
One word of advice to my younger self would be patience.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
And if I was standing at the edge, I would want the world to know that I did it with care and compassion.
I thought you were going to say I did it my way, but anyways, yeah.
No, but I will tell you, it's funny. It's funny you brought that up, because here's a little nugget that I didn't even get into about my personal life, is that I'm actually a real kick-ass chef, cook.
Okay.
And I do all the cooking in my home.
Okay.
And my happy place, one of them is, I have this we live in a beautiful home, and I have this big kitchen, and I pour myself a real nice glass of red wine. I put on some jazz, generally Frank or Dean or, one of the classics.
Right.
And I just cook to jazz and red wine. So did in my way.
I have an idea for that one. Yeah, let's next episode with the Jay and Justin one take should be, we'll all sit and watch you cook, and then you'll serve us all.
Hey man, I'll be all over that.
I'll have a glass of wine. You get a glass of wine.
Yes.
We'll sit. We'll do it on sort of an evening, and you cook. Tell us what you're cooking. Show us the angles.
Okay.
And we'll do a Jay and Justin one take cooking show.
I'm in. I'm dead serious. I'm totally in. I'm in.
And then we'll show them what you cook. We won't be able to taste it, but maybe we'll be able to write down the ingredients. And
my family will. So
and then they'll all sit down for dinner, and we'll call it a show. There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
There you go.
It's
cool.
Great.
So cooking with Jay and Justin.
I love it.
Cool. Well, Jay, I really appreciate the time, patience, and you did it with care and compassion. So keep doing it. I see your clips whenever they come in my news feed. Definitely check them out. So I appreciate them. So keep up doing what you're doing. Everyone else, check out Jay. Where else can they find you? Like, obviously LinkedIn.
So
do you do Twitter or Facebook or any of that stuff at all? Or
I will. I do have Facebook. I'm not active on it. And I do have Twitter. I'm not active on it, unfortunately, because with what my business does, I really put all my effort into the people, my clients that I'm working for. They're my number one priority when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yeah. And as for myself, I am on the list, but for me, LinkedIn has been really good for me because the people I want to serve are the business women and men out there, right?
Right. No, I get it. Do you have a website?
I took it down and I'm rebuilding it.
Oh yeah, okay. So we'll next round we can talk about that.
Oh yeah, that my website will be up. It's funny. It's good. My goal I put the end of this month is it to be up.
So you got 9 days, no 10 days.
Yeah, I know. It's called pressure, and it's all good.
There you go. Accountability. Awesome. Well, Jay, appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
On the show. Everyone else, this is one take. So this is all going to be one take. So if you've got to this far, it's all here. One take, powered by backers, Justin, Jay, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks, Jay.
Cheers. Thank you.
OMG, baby, tell them.